Right, what we'll be doing today is going through our webinar, which is simple and effective ways to address pupils' SPaG learning gaps. If you've got any questions at all, my colleague Alex is here in the background and he'll be using the Q&A. So at the bottom, so instead of the chat, if you write any questions in the Q&A icon, and he'll do his best to answer them as I'm going through so that I'm not trying to do both at the same time. What we'll do is I'll show you around the website and I'll share my screen with you shortly, and I'll show you how our Spelling Shed resources can help you in your teaching of SPaG and cover all of those curriculum objectives. Right, what I will do now then is share my screen. Okay. Right, so first of all, my name is Caris. I have worked for EdShed for just over a year, and I also used to be a primary school teacher. So hopefully I can empathise with you and see what we can do today to help you with your SPaG teaching and make it a little bit more exciting for the children, because I know it can be one of those subjects that can be a bit dry and not that exciting to teach. So what I'm going to do is I'll record this and I'll also send it to you afterwards. It's not going to be very long at all today. It'll be half an hour, no longer than half an hour. So what I'll do now is just disappear from the side of the screen, and then we can concentrate on the website. So like I said, my colleague Alex is in the background. You might have met him before via social media, or also anything to do with MathShed related. So if you ask any questions on the Q&A icon. So first of all, regarding SPaG, you need to have a Spelling Shed subscription, or alternatively a Spelling Shed free trial. So with Spelling Shed, you get access to our spelling scheme and word lists. You also get access to some free Phonics Shed resources, which I'll touch on both of these at the end, and then also our SPaG scheme, which is what I'll focus on today. So free trials, should you want to get started this evening at all. For school and teachers, you get a 30-day free trial, and this will end straight away. You don't have to worry about cancelling it and it taking any money. It'll end after 30 days. And for a parent account, your free trial lasts 2 weeks. So to find our resources, we need to have a look at this green button here. Now, I know you can see other things on my homepage here. So once you get a setup, you'll have your pupils, and you can divide those pupils into groups. Now, these might be classes or English groups, whatever, however you want to divide them. You've also got assignments here, which I'll also go through. So if we click on resources, here's where you can find all of the teaching PowerPoints and quizzes that we have within Spelling Shed. So with SPaG, you can get to them in 2 different ways. So first of all, this is our Spelling Shed scheme. The stages are the same as ages. So stage 1 is year 1 and so on. And Spelling Shed goes from year 1 to year 6. So if I click stage 1 here, you can see we've got a SPaG icon there, and underneath here are all of the spelling PowerPoints in our scheme. So you can access SPaG by clicking here. And then we've got this at all the year 1 SPaG subcategories. Every single year group has these 4 subcategories that they're divided into. There's no exact teaching order that you can teach these in. Some teachers choose to pick certain areas that go with a book they're studying in English, for example, or you might just want to start at Word lesson 1 and literally work your way through. It's completely up to you, but these will cover all of the national curriculum objectives for each year group. So if we click into Word, and then it has further subcategories, we'll click on this objective here, and then these are individual lessons. If I click on a lesson, what it will give you is it will give you a quiz that the pupils can answer, and it will give you a teaching PowerPoint. So the idea is if I teach this PowerPoint, you can then set this quiz for the pupils to practice either in class or at home for homework. You can see this one's free. So when you've got a free trial, you get access to all of the features. The only restrictions you have is you can only see some of the free PowerPoints and quizzes. But there are still quite a few, and there are some for each year group. So it's enough for you to have a good look around. So the other way you can also get to the SPaG is also by clicking up here, clicking in a year group. Then again, it's the same subcategories. These are all exactly the same resources. It's just how best works for you in finding them. And then we've got question sets, which are the quizzes for the pupils. And again, you can see the green ones are free. The yellow ones come with a paid subscription. And then resources, which are our teaching PowerPoints below there. So it's completely up to you how you want to get there and what works best. So what I will do next is I'll choose a SPaG PowerPoint and I will just show you what it looks like. So if we go for Year 2, Word 1, Lesson 1, and then download that. And then we can open that here. And this is one of the free ones. So if you'd like to get a trial this evening, this is one that you'll be able to see. There we go. So it's identifying and sorting nouns, and we can see all the different slides along the side. So I'll just show you very quickly what some of our PowerPoints look like. So if we play from start. And they do cover, as I said before, all of the national curriculum objectives. So if I go across, you can see they're quite colourful. And again, as most things do start with, it starts on a bit of recapping of previous learning and sort of introducing what we're going to be learning today. So this is designed for whole class input. There are some activities on here you could use in other ways should you wish. So then we're introducing what we're doing, what is a noun, which of these words is being used as a noun. And then this is one that you could use either, again, just in whole class input, or potentially if you'd rather, you could print this out and get pupils to fill this out in class. Or I used to also use Seesaw quite a bit when I was teaching. I used to screenshot things like this and get the pupils to annotate on them and get them to send it back to me. Or you can just use it on your interactive whiteboard. So all you need to do is circle your nouns, just like that. And then circling nouns in these sentences, and it's the option to check them so you can also show the answers. So there are some nice interactive things as well in our PowerPoints. And then it comes down to specifically other specific nouns that we're learning today. So we're looking at common nouns and proper nouns, and it gives lots of nice examples there. And again, circling all of the proper nouns and the option to check those. And then this is a really nice activity. So we're going to sort these words into common or proper nouns. And all you need to do is click on each noun and it will sort itself into each group. So there's some really nice features of these different PowerPoints. I'll stop it there. You've got the idea. Right, and we'll go back to here. So that's sort of what our SPaG PowerPoints look like as a very quick look. Now, once we've taught that, say we've done that as a whole class input and the children have had a good practice and it's gone through going to more specific nouns and they've done practice a whole class, got their confidence up, we're going to then want to set the quiz that goes with this PowerPoint. Any work that we set to pupils on EdShed is called an assignment, and it's the way that we do it and just how we call setting work for pupils. So all we need to do is click create, and we're going to click single assignment. There's something called an assignment set, and that's to do when we set our spellings over a period of time. But it's only a single assignment for SPaG, and it will take you to a screen like this. Now we're going to give it a title. I'm just going to call it test homework. And then when you want it to appear, you can set it for in the future as well if you're being organised. And when you want it to, the children not to be able to access it anymore. And then we click next. Then this screen will come up depending on what subscriptions you have got. So we're going to click SPaG quiz because that's what we're going to set. And then it will come up with all the different year groups. So we just taught Year 2, Word week 1 and then lesson 1, and then we're going to click select. So that's the PowerPoint that we just went through. And then it will come up with a screen like this. So the number of questions, we've got 10 questions in the quiz, and you can decide how you want those shuffled. And then we've got another option down here. Now, if we slide this across, this will limit options until required games played or Royal B achieved. Now, that just means that if you want to, depending on your class, if I limit the options, my pupils can only see assignments that I have set for them, so work I've set for them, rather than clicking around the website going on all different things. So it's completely up to you, and it's completely up to what's suitable for your pupils. The other thing where it says games required or Royal B achieved, games required is here. So you could say they need to play this quiz 3 times, and then they can click, then sort of it'll open up and they'll have access to the other things. So the screen will only be locked until they've done it 3 times. And then Royal B, this is how the pupils kind of get on higher levels, the more they play and the more scores that they do. So on an assignment, they start, and I'll show you this in a moment, they start at an egg, and then they go to a larva, I think, and then they keep going, and the highest one is Royal B. So that's the highest score that they possibly could score on this quiz. So it's up to you whether you want to do that and the pupils in your class. I'll do it so that we can see what it looks like. And then click save. And then we're going to click pupils. So you can click them specifically, or you can then go into your groups. So pupils can be in as many different groups as you want. They can be in their class, and then they can also be in spelling groups. I've just made a little test group here. And then you can either select all of them or unselect specific ones. And then there's a little thing that you can put across there that says track group. That just means if a pupil comes out of this group, so for instance, if Betty comes out of this group, maybe she's moved up a spelling group or down a spelling group, however you want to do it, she'll automatically be taken out of this assignment. So she'll be taken out of this homework. Otherwise, if she's taken out of this group, this will still appear for her, and it might not necessarily be the right activity for her group. So it's just sort of like a tool that saves you a bit of admin, really. And then we've got teachers. This is really good if you share a class with another teacher, or also for your teaching assistant. And this just means any other teachers that can view this assignment. So if you're using it as homework, maybe other teachers will need to be able to check whether pupils have done their homework, whether they've practiced. So if I add any teachers from my list down here and they appear up here, they can also view it and check that too. So I'm going to click close. And this is the one that we've done. So it will appear down here. And if I click details, I can see the pupils in there. And this is the status. So this is when they go to Royal B. If I click on one that I played earlier, it'll be a Blue Peter moment. Here we go. So this is one that I played earlier, and you can see how many times the children have played, the percentage they've got correct. If I click on that as well, it will sort them for me from high to low or low to high. And then you can see their statuses have changed. So depending on how many scores, these change, and the highest is Royal B. And there are different things that you can get from the website if you choose, which are stickers that you can hand out. So that is our assignment. So say we've taught our PowerPoint and we're checking how the children are getting on. The other thing we also have is we have end of term SPaG assessments as well. So what I will do is show you how to find one of those within here. So if we want to set a SPaG assessment, that's going to look exactly the same as a SPaG assignment. And I'll make sure that I log in as a pupil so that you can see it from their point of view too. So if we're going to click create and single assignment again, and again, title, so put assessment. And then again, when you want it available to and from. Then the difference here is we're then going to click into quiz shed, and we're going to search whatever stage you are, so the year group, and then it's end of term. And then we've got end of term 1, 2, and 3. So that is how you find them. So you do your stage and then end of term and then whichever term it is. So if we click that one, and same options again, and then we're going to click save. Oh, there we are. And we're going into all pupils. We'll set it for the same one so that we can access it. Again, track group, if your pupils switch groups often, but it's an assessment, so it's probably a little bit different. Next, if you would like any other teachers to be able to view it, you can add them here. And then close, and that will show here. So what I will do now is I will log in as a pupil and show you both of those. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Because I've limited lists, I haven't got access to loads of things on here. I've just got my assignments that you can see that have been set for me. On the side, you can see other things. So we've got leagues, Hive games, which I'll explain and touch on at the end. And then you've also got things like the avatar. And what pupils can do is the more they play, the more honey pots they earn. And that's a currency within EdShed to buy different things for their avatar, which is another good motivational tool. So if I click assignments, here are all the ones that with the 2 that we set and then the one that I had set earlier. So if I click the homework that we've set and click play, I'll just show you what that looks like. So it'll go like this and it'll click start game. And then there's the option, if they wish to have the question read aloud.
Choose the word that is the noun in this sentence. Is that dog hungry? Select an answer below. Dog, is, that, or hungry.
And it'll tell you if you've got it right or not. And then again, get some wrong. So it'll give you instant feedback. So they're quite a lot of them are multi-choice. Some of them you have to have multiple answers, so they really have to read the question, and it won't tell you how many to select either. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll exit that bit. Sign back in. Right, okay, there we go. And then I'll show the assessment. Now, although this is an assessment, it's going to look exactly the same as any other quiz. So it's still going to have the different colourful characters. It's still going to have some multiple choice. I'll click play and show you that one. So we can see from the icon as well that it's end of term. And again, you can still have them reading it out. This red flag up here means that if you come across anything on the quiz that's not quite right, that will report it straight to us. So this will let us know that this question's not quite right. So it looks exactly like any other quiz. So it's also quite a nice way to do an assessment, a little bit more engaging, not as scary perhaps. Right, so I'll just quit that. Right, I'm just going to go back onto the teacher part. So things you can do to see how the children are getting on is, one thing you can do is, as I showed before, have a look at this bit and it'll give you a nice class overview, and you can sort and see who's getting what correct, how many games they've played, and their status will also give you a really good indicator of that. If you'd like a little bit more of a detailed view, you can click View Pupil, go to Quiz Data, and here you can see what this child has played, what they've got correct, how many. And if I click View, you'll be able to see the answers for this child here and what they've put in. Now, the other thing as well that we've got, if I click on groups, so the group that I've been playing as pupils in, we've been setting work for today, was SPaG group. Now there's something next to it here called competence tracker. This is something really new that we are just straightening out. I'll give you a little preview. So if we click competence tracker, this will then open a curriculum grid for all of the kids that are in this group. So at the top, we've got maths, SPaG, reading and spelling. I'm going to click on SPaG for obvious reasons. Then we can select our year groups. We've been playing and teaching as year 2. And then again, we've got the 4 subcategories, which we've seen before. So I'm going to click on Word. And then we've got the 3 objectives. If I click on that one, it will then break it down further. So each one gets more and more specific. And you can see some of the data that's been generated here from playing as these 2 pupils. So we can see how far they're meeting the objectives at the top. This is made from each question has been tagged with a curriculum objective. And from that and then playing, we can kind of get a good indication of how secure they are in this. And data is generated such as this, which would be a really good indicator for, and a really good way to be able to see if there's anything we need to revisit in class, a really good way to see patterns within all the pupils within this class. They all seem at the moment a similar level, but if they're not, and on one specific objective you can see that they're lacking, then this can be something that you can then go back and revisit. Now that is it in terms of SPaG. So I've shown you where all our PowerPoints are, how to set the quizzes, how to find the assessments, and how to have a quick look at the data that's been generated. The other thing that I mentioned before is with Spelling Shed subscription, yes, you get the SPaG stuff, but of course you also get our Spelling Shed PowerPoints, which I showed you in resources. With each of the PowerPoints, there's also a word list that you can assign to pupils to practice. And there's also something called a hive game, which is a way to replace a traditional spelling test. Now I'll quickly show you how to find some more information about this in a moment. But the exciting thing is our new product Phonics Shed, that launched in September. There are a few things that you can also use of this that come free with Spelling Shed subscriptions. If I go to resources, click on Phonics Shed, anything again with the green free sign means that you can use it. So our phonics scheme is broken into chapters. If I go into chapter 2 and then sets within it, it does roughly follow letters and sounds. So we can see here the different sets within chapter 2. If I just click on one, you can then see below here, there are quite a few different things that are free. So we've got letter formations. There are a lot of songs. All of our songs are free that go with each of our individual character, as well as a selection of planning. So that's also a really, really good opportunity to have a click around there. And also it might help some of your spellers should they need that. Now going on to finding a bit more out about Spelling Shed, because I was aware that we really wanted to focus on SPaG today, and I don't want to keep you for too long. On our YouTube channel, it's our Ed Shed, just like this here. We've got loads and loads of different tutorials, and when I've done these webinars and I've recorded them, I mostly upload them here. This is one from the 3rd of November, and I go through everything that's in a Spelling Shed subscription. If I click below here, I have tagged all the different bits so you don't have to watch the whole video, you can just skip. So what I was going to do is just very quickly, if I click on what hive game, and those of you that haven't used it, if you want to just have a look at what this looks like, because it's a really lovely interactive way to make a traditional spelling test a bit more exciting. So it does require for all the pupils to have their own devices. And what you do is you select one of the spelling lists from our scheme, or you can make up your own if you want to. So say they've been practicing this as an assignment for homework over the course of the week. And then what the pupils will need to do is, this is the teacher screen on the left. It generates a code for pupils to put in on their device. This is the pupil screen on the right. So if they enter that 6-digit code, what they do is they join the game, and then you as the teacher can see everyone that's joined. You can click start the game, and what it will do is it will read out the spelling. You can have it connected to the whiteboard if you want, so your computer can read out the spelling, and what the pupils will see is a keyboard, and they put in the spelling. This is the teacher screen on the left. It's up to you whether you want the word in front of you as the teacher or not, but the pupils cannot see the word. And it will give you instant feedback about who got what after each word. So that's a really nice feature. So I'd recommend having a look on our EdShed YouTube channel, because there are loads and loads of different videos on there, as you can see. And that might be a really nice place to go next. Right, what I'll do is I'll stop sharing. I hope you found that helpful. I know not everyone's aware that we have all of our SPaG resources in Spelling Shed, and there's so much there that you can use and adapt in class as you wish to, and use at your own pace, which is really great. And those quizzes are a really nice way just to make SPaG a little bit more exciting for the children. But I hope it was useful. I'll send you the link to a recording of this should you wish to share it with any colleagues or anything like that. Not short but sweet, but I hope it was good. Thanks so much for watching. It's great to see that we've got so many, and so many of you that are still here, so that's fab. Thanks very much. Bye.